Welcome to Focus on Liberia, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. Today we have Liberian international artist Jodi Clarke, who's here today to promote his recent single, Miracle, featuring Tracy Jones. I am your host for today, Danielle Knuckles-Gishard, and I have with me in studio, Dennis Ja.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special interview with Mr. Jodi Clarke as he launches his new single, Miracle. We're glad to have you, Jodi. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being with you guys once again. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And if you're just joining us, please remember to like our page, Focus on Liberia. Also, please follow us on YouTube at Focus on Liberia. After our shows here on Facebook, we post the videos on YouTube as well. So let's jump right into it. This is Jodi's second time here on Focus on Liberia. We had him on in February. But as Dennis stated, he has a new single out, Miracle, featuring Tracy Jones. So we just want to catch up with you, Jodi, and talk about this single. So the song that was playing before we came on was that song, Miracle. So Jodi, what's been going on with you since we last spoke in February?
Whatever, everything's been going good. Been staying safe, with the COVID-19, and everybody staying home. Been doing just that. And but before all of this happened, the song Miracle was recorded. I would say maybe two years ago, or a little bit more than that. And I just needed the right time to be able to put it out. And with the messaging and the whole meaning behind the song, I felt like this was the right time with everything that's going on in the world. And we all need a miracle. It shouldn't just be when there is crisis, but in our lives, daily living, we need a miracle. We need God to intervene, and that's just the passion behind that song.
Okay, and so who is Tracy Jones, and how did you guys collab on this song?
So Tracy is a gospel artist. She started out at a very young age. So most of the work that she's done, they were when she was very young. So at the age of, I believe, 14, going to 15, she recorded that song. I had the song recorded, and normally when I do music, I kind of sit on it for like a good while just to make sure, I'm ready for it and it's something that I want to put out. So Tracy's father, which is also her manager, Victor Jones, he and I talk a lot, and we're very, good friends. We're more like family. So he heard the song and he liked it, and one thing led to another, and we had Tracy on it. And a year later, before we actually shot the video after we did the song. So it's a beautiful song, and a lot of people are loving it, and I'm definitely grateful for that.
Okay. And the video was very beautiful, great quality. Where was it shot, and who shot it?
The video was shot in Charlotte, and the video was shot by a director from Charlotte. His name is Jay Sweet. He's Nigerian, and he's pretty good work. He works with a lot of Liberian artists, and I just wanted to try somebody different, and it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, it's beautiful quality. The color, everything is top notch.
So thank you. I appreciate it.
Jodi, what goes on into selecting someone to feature in your album? What was the thought process behind that?
Well, most of the time, I if I'm reaching out to an artist to work with them, is because I like their work, not just the music, but I try to kind of figure out that artist's work ethics and just well-rounded how that person deal with people. And if you and I can vibe on that level, then we can actually work together. And that's something that I've done with I work with Brackett, I work with Serge. Beno Serge is a very big artist from the Ivory Coast, and he and I ended up working on a second song again. So we got another song coming out. So that just it's just the chemistry that we had just working together was good, and we decided to do it again. Tracy's a good, she's a very good gospel artist, and she's growing into it. So few years from now, I would say one of the best, best gospel artists, to come from this era. So it was my pleasure working with her and people getting to know her now that she's a lot, she's a lot older than when she was younger. So it takes a lot. If you and I like to work with people who are humble, who wants to work, and not just people who just think, oh, you're supposed to do certain things because people know you now. You got this big head. I worked with Snow T, and Snow T featured me, and I had no problem with doing a song with Snow T. So I'm always open to work with people who just have to, just have to be somebody that I think is willing to work.
Nice. And so the name of the song is Miracle. And as you stated, you guys recorded the song at least 2 years ago. And right now seem to be the perfect time to release it. So
Absolutely.
What sort of miracles are you looking for right now?
Well, the lyrics in the song, I would say those are most of the time when I write songs from other people's perspective, and I also write songs from things that are going on in my life. So I felt like it was a combination of different things that I've went through in life, in this thing called life, and things that I look forward to conquering in the look forward to conquering in the future. And the miracle, I would say, one of the biggest miracle that happened in my life is my son, and I'm definitely grateful for that. He's here, so if you hear someone talking in the background, that's actually him talking. But that was one of the biggest miracles in my life, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. And then just being alive, just being able to see another day, to watch him grow up, that's an everyday miracle, and I'm appreciative for that. Especially with everything that's going on, people being sick and stuff like that, being healthy and being alive, that's a miracle that we should all be thankful for.
And I need that miracle too, especially in this time of.
So I know there might be some viewers who weren't able to catch the first interview we had in February. So can you just remind the audience again who you are, where you're from, and how you got into music?
My name is for the people who don't know me, my name is Jodi Clarke. I was born in Grand Bassa, left at a very, very young age. So I am Liberian, but I grew up in the Ivory Coast. So most of my life, and me learning about music and everything else that I know, that I discovered while living in the Ivory Coast. Came to the U.S. I live here as well. Grew up in Miami, and so I've been doing music for a minute, and I've also been I've had an opportunity to be able to inspire other people who are doing music now, who look up to me back then and say, oh, because of you, I'm doing this and doing that. And so it feels good to see people who kind of said those things are now, doing what they always wanted to do, and they're doing great. I haven't been to Liberia since I left from there, so that's one thing that I want to, that's something that's on my list that I want to do. And I pray to God that hopefully when everything is over this December, I can actually go to Liberia.
Okay. Yeah, because we talked about that last time, the possibility of you going to Liberia. And of course, that was February before everything started happening. So, so you guys are still hoping on that, still planning for that to happen?
Absolutely. It's my goal. And, with everything I do, I would say God first. If it's God's will for me to go to Liberia, I definitely will. But that's something that I personally want to do. So I always pray about it and hope that it happens this December. We're getting everything in place to make sure that happens this year.
Okay. And so last time you were here, we also talked about, marketing, publicity strategies, really getting your music into, not only the Liberian community, but, internationally. So for this song, Miracle, what is the goal? What is the strategy to make sure that everyone can hear it?
So Miracle is actually playing in Liberia now a whole lot, because a lot of people who come from Liberia say, oh, Miracle is like, maybe if you listen to three gospel songs in the row. By the time you get to that third one, Miracle's already played. Or let's say you listen to three songs on the radio. By the time you get to the third one, Miracle's already part of the third one. So that's a good thing. And then there's also on Tris Gospel, which is one of the biggest TV stations around Africa. So a few of my fans actually commented that on my fan page that, oh, beautiful video, I just saw this playing on Tris. So that's a really good thing when your fans can comment, or people who just love your music and comment and say, oh, I just saw this video playing on Tris. So it's playing. Hopefully we can get it on the TV stations that are, you know, in Liberia. And at times, as I said before, it's a little difficult to get things done in Liberia compared to when I'm doing things in the Ivory Coast or anywhere else for that matter. But I'm praying and hoping that things will be different this time, because now we got a whole team behind Miracle. So they're really pushing it in Liberia. And it's also playing on trade. So hopefully it will get around Africa a lot better.
Wonderful. And so, Miracle, is this your first time kind of dipping into gospel music, or?
Well, I would say I consider it an inspirational song. There's a lot of different meanings. People can say a gospel song and however you want to call it. As a songwriter, I would say it's an inspirational song that features a gospel artist, on the song. So no matter what people label it, it's perfectly fine with me. But this is not my first time doing an inspirational song. This is my first time really pushing one.
Okay. Because the last time you were on here, we were, talking about, what genre you find yourself in, or how would you characterize your music?
Right.
And so I guess with inspirational music, you're fine going into that, as well as still doing Afro pop fusion music.
I mean, absolutely. There's a lot of songwriters out there that write for different people. So when you're writing songs, you really don't limit yourself to a certain kind of music that you can write. If you had a country artist that like your writing skills because you're amazing with the pen, you're gonna write a song for that country artist. They don't make you a country songwriter. It just make you a writer. So anyone who does gospel music, if they reach out to me and say, "Oh, write me a song. I want you to write this type of music for me, that type of music for me, contemporary gospel or whatever it is," I'm writing the song based on the words and based on the message. So I would say I'm an artist, musician, a songwriter, but I don't put myself in a box and say I'm just this type of artist, because I can do any kind of music that is placed in front of me.
Okay, good. And so how can our audience members either purchase your song or support your song or this song, Miracle, right now? Where can we find it?
So Miracle is on every online music platform. You can get it on Apple Music. You can get it on the Google Music. You can get it on Spotify. It plays on Spotify. It plays on a lot of online radios. You can also, you can follow me right here. It's facebook.com/I am Jodi Clarke. On Instagram or Twitter is I am Jodi Clarke. On YouTube is Jodi Clarke. If you type in Jodi Clarke on YouTube, you're going to see my name pop up. You're going to see the music pop up. Miracle is doing good on YouTube. The numbers are going up, so that's a good thing. And then the fact that, and most of the time when you send music videos to a TV station and you're not a big name that TV station knows, that have a lot of music playing, every time they end up going to YouTube to see how things are going with that record. Or sometimes they just like the music, they like the video. So there's a lot of things that plays in, that they end up playing it. But you can get the music on any platform, just right on your smartphone. Just go to Apple Music and type in Jodi Clarke. It's gonna pop up.
Okay. And so, as we said, between February to now, one of the major things that have been going on is the global pandemic, COVID-19.
Right.
As an artist, I'm sure it's harder to do business. But how have you been creative in continuing pushing forward within this industry during this time?
Well, I have a home studio that I normally do most of my writing before going to the main studio. And so for the past maybe two months or so, when things were kind of crazy, that's what I was doing. And then things are now open a little bit, so I've been able to go to the studio to actually record. Also, I'm working on a new video that the shoot is going to be the 27th of this month, which is going to be, you know, it's going to be amazing. So there's a lot of things coming. So hopefully by the time everything is back to normal, we have a lot of materials and a lot of new music and videos out to be able to do the tour that I always wanted to do in Liberia.
And if you are just joining us, we are here today with Liberian international artist Jodi Clarke, and we are discussing his brand new single, Miracle, featuring Tracy Jones. Okay, Dennis, back to you.
Yeah, so Jodi, I know you were here before and we went through your music, but just for the sake of those who are just joining us, give us a brief history of the album that you have released prior to Miracle. Just tell them which were, you know, how you did with them, which were the big names and so forth.
Well, prior to putting this to putting Miracle out, I've worked on songs like I would say one of the most known songs that Liberians know a lot, and other countries are catching on to it is "Baby I Do." Almost every Liberian wedding, if that song don't play, I don't know, but you know, a lot of people use it for their weddings. I have a song called Bejio, which is in Bassa and English, which was another big song that played on Trace TV a lot. I did a song with Bracket, which is a Nigerian group, titled Number One. So with that song, I was able to go on tour to Australia and other places. Was able to then be one of the first Liberian artists to really start playing on Trace, on Trace TV, and it's kind of paving the way for other people to come along. And I've had music on Lone Star cell phone, have ringtones on there that had a very high, download. Had a contract with Lone Star, and things just didn't work out the way we wanted to, so I didn't go to Liberia. But there's a lot of things that I've done, and then still doing.
Great. And if you would like to ask Jodi a question, you can comment here on the Facebook page, or you can call in. The phone number is there, 605-313-6004, and the code is 791403. Again, the phone number is 605-313-6004. and the code 791403, and we will have that pinned for you as well.
Now let's come back to Miracle. I'm from the church, so I'm looking at it through the lenses of the church as gospel. And you say I'm free to do that, right?
Absolutely.
So what's the feedback you're getting from people, especially the religious people? Are they playing it in a way that is ministering to them spiritually? What's the feedback so far?
Well, that's mainly that's one of the feedback that we're actually getting. A lot of people, they love it. For them, it's a gospel song that is expressing, you looking for a miracle, somebody who's been through a lot in their life. The words are very meaningful. The words are touching, and the words give you hope for you to look forward to something. For you to look forward to, today you have a rainy day. The next day you have a sunny day. So it gives them a reason to want to listen to it more. It gives them a reason to want more. Because I've got a lot of messages from people who they never knew me, now they know me, and they're reaching out. Oh, do another gospel song. So they love it. Will I? We'll see. But
and I watch the young Tracy in that, thinking about marriage. It's one thing for someone so young as Tracy. I think she's still in high school, right? Thinking about a miracle. And then my daughter just graduated. Their graduation for the student this year is with the pandemic has not been easy. They've been kind of very sad. And so the time is very timely. And then for a young person joining you with this miracle thing, It even appeals to the younger generation, in my view.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you have to be able to reach out to everybody, and that's why when people ask me, "Oh, what kind of music you do?" I try not to put myself in a box. It's because for every music out there, you have a fan base. So somebody else might say, "Oh, I don't like your music," and another person might say, "Oh, I'm crazy about that person's music." Or you might do an album that have 10 songs on it that your hardcore fan might not like all 10 songs. They might only like 5 songs, but in the other 5 songs they don't like, you have a whole different niche market that like that. So I always try to do music that's relevant, music that's pretty much global, and I feel like Miracle is a global song. It reaches out to everybody.
It does. And since you're getting such positive feedback on this song, how how likely is it maybe that you would just switch completely over to to inspirational music solely?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of things to think about, but at the end of the day, God is the one that kind of leads, and then you follow. So if that's what God wants me to do, then that's exactly what's going to happen. If He wants me to do that in a few years, and whatever, I feel like people get successful based on a whole lot of different things. Other people get successful overnight, and other people it take them a while. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine at the studio that I played a song for, and also play other songs. And he said, well, for example, people coming here, every time they hear me play your music and your videos, they're oh wow, this guy should be on, he should be at the Grammys, or he should be doing this, or be doing that. I said, yeah, people used to say that a few years back about Bruno Boy. But Bruno Boy is now on all those things. And he's not an artist that just started yesterday. He's somebody that's been in this thing for over 10 years. Mm-hmm. But now you're getting to know about him. So when the time is right, whatever is supposed to happen in my life will happen. If it's not supposed to happen, that's all God's plan. It's not my plan. I just follow. I have my own plan, but at the end of the day, God has to be the one that executes that plan. I just put in the work because it deserves work. You can have a plan, but if you don't put the work behind it, it's not going to happen.
So, Jodi, we have a caller on the line. Let me see. Mozilla Gizzy, you are live. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jah, and good afternoon to everyone, especially Jodi Clarke. Jodi Clarke, you might not know me, but I really appreciate you. I'm a lover of R&B music, and the first time I heard your music was the song called "Think About You." Very fabulous. Yeah. So I carried that song to my place of work. I carried that song to my place of work. I was in the hospital. So I played the song, and I paid $20 for that song if somebody could indicate the artist. So all the American people were naming all the R&B singers, what they got me, Trey songs. Somebody were saying Aven, all the R&B singers there. Somebody were naming these guys. So nobody was able to win the $20. They are finally told them, I say, oh, this song is done by a Liberian called Jodi Clarke. And everybody was just so amazed with that song. Very beautiful. I want to say thank you. First day I'll be following you. I'll be playing most of your songs. But the only problem I have that I want you to address today is this. Most of you Liberian musicians, those who are on air, try to promote you guys, but every time we play your song or video, it is muted. And so it discourages most of us trying to promote you guys. I've been playing your music many times. I have a program called Party Time with Mazola on Liberia Public Radio. But lately I stopped playing that because Liberian musicians, they have discouraged some of us. Every time you play their video or the song, they will meet them or whatever. So I want to know the song that you just talked about, Grateful, which you say is a religious music. Do you have a copyright on that, or we'll be able to play it for our audience?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I own the song, and this is you can play it for it. You can download. I can email it to you. My team can email it to you. You can download it. So Facebook has this thing where there's a lot of copyright going on, and when you work with a publisher, and that publisher, and there's so many people uploading your songs to different platforms that they're getting money for, then that publisher ends up becoming a problem because that publisher has to collect, and my publisher is in France. So whenever the song is being played on the platform, if it's not being done properly, that's when that actually happens. But I don't want anybody to be muted because they're playing my music. I actually appreciate the fact that you play my music, because that helps the music get out there. It helps people to know it. So I definitely appreciate everybody that actually play the music. And if that's happened in the past, that's something that we need to work on, and we will work on it. But it's not something that's done intentionally.
And Mazola, hold on for a minute. Don't go away. So Jodi, what is the process? Because we have the same problem too. Every music you play, no matter, even when I was, I think I had a Just Prince, and he was on the show, and we were playing his music, but that was copyright infringement. So, what's the process for us to follow to be able to take that out?
That's what I'm saying. That's what we're trying to figure out now between Facebook and my publisher, because once the song is published, that's when that happens. The moment you start playing it, they're gonna recognize that particular song is published. If it's just a song that you did and it's never been online, not on YouTube or anything, it will allow you to play it. Most of the time, I'll come on here and I'm playing songs I would never put out, or I just did in the studio, I just having fun. But the moment you start playing certain songs, they will end up cutting it off. So we're still working on that process. I kind of heard about it when someone told me, "Oh, I tried to play your music, and Facebook wouldn't let me play it." Facebook is the main platform that actually does that.
Yeah.
It will either mute the song or cut pieces of the song. So we're still working on it to see how we can get that fixed.
Right now, the way we are doing the interview, we want to play your song in the middle of the interview. But if we did that whole part will be muted. So that's why we try to play at the beginning and also at the end. So probably we can cut that off. And I watched most of his show. He plays a lot of music. And so Mozilla, you're back on air. If you have your final comments or question.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jardine. And also, Jodi, thanks for that clarification. And as Mr. Jard said, this will be our frustration, because we try to promote you guys. We are very appreciative of the hard work you guys are doing promoting the country. And we try to do that too from our end as the people on air, what have you. But I will want you to try your best, talk to your colleagues so that you can talk to the management and what have you, that at least some consideration can be given, because we are not doing this to make money. It's just to promote you guys. And we always indicate our various platforms that the intent is to promote the artists and to entertain. And even like I give you the final example before I leave, there's another song done by this guy, Jodi Clarke, also called Grateful, which is very beautiful. But I played that song, I think 1 or 2 times. It was muted, so as a result, I can no longer use it. Well, anyway, in my final scene, I don't have any questions, but I hope that you guys can just try to, make it easier for us. And one, I would also suggest, if you would mind, it would be better when you guys could try to forward your inbox some of these songs for some of us, who are on air, so that we can try to promote it. That would be very, very easy, because sometimes to get it on YouTube is difficult or what have you.
Right. Oh, thank you very much. I definitely appreciate the feedback. Thank you. And we will try to get the song.
Thank you, Mr. Jack.
Thank you, Mazola.
And just to clarify, so Facebook is the main social media where this is still a problem. Would we run into the same problem on Instagram or TikTok or any of the other platforms?
I mean, I see people playing other people's music on Instagram and TikTok. They even do videos and they put it out there, and they don't mute it or cut it off. So Facebook is the main one that actually does that. It even happens to some song that I try to put on my fan page. So that's a problem that we're having, and because it has to do with the publishing, so I'm trying to deal with my publisher to see what's going on and see, and so to kind of get that fixed, because I've tried it before and they actually would mute part of the song. I didn't realize until people reached out to me and told me they can't play the whole song.
Yeah. Interesting too, because you mentioned working with Snotty, and she had a similar problem recently trying to play her own music online.
Right.
Okay, interesting. Do we have another caller?
No, we're still waiting for more callers. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. This is our interview with artist Jodi Clarke on his new single, Miracle, featuring Tracy Jones.
Before the caller came in, you mentioned something about having to put in time in this industry, in this business. So how many years would you say you've put in really just your time and effort into the music?
Well, I would say I've been doing music for a while, but I try to go in like 100% because I've had problems with being signed to contracts and trying to get out of the contract and stuff like that. So um, all of those factors into if you get signed by someone or how much you can really get out there. And if you're on a contract with someone else that's not in agree, they're not agreeing with some of the things that you're trying to do, that kind of suppress that. So all of those happened, but I would say by 2014, 2013, 2014, at that point, I was a little free to be able to do a lot, but then, just kept pushing after that.
So this is definitely a game of perseverance, you would say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what encouragement would you give to the other artists, especially international artists or foreign artists that are out there? What sort of encouragement would you give them?
Music is something that you have to have a passion for it. You have to be dedicated to doing it. If you're only doing it because you want the money and want to be famous overnight, then it's not the thing for you. You gotta love to do it. Don't do it because other people are doing it. But if you're doing it because it's something you believe, you see yourself doing, then you want to give it your all and keep going. So I would say people would tell you this is not working, that's not working. You just got to keep pushing.
And so as a international artist, foreign artist, what sort of obstacles do you think you meet versus maybe someone who was born in America and is doing, standard English R&B or pop or rap music? How do you think your journey is different?
I mean, years ago it was a little different, but now Afro music is the attention of, African music have gotten the attention of the entire world. So it's just a matter of, because back then it used to be where you had to be talented, you have to know how to really sing and the looks and everything for them to go for it. Nowadays it's not about that. Nowadays it's about the finance. It's about being able to have the money, the right management. And if you got money, you can get the right management. You can get the right team. You can get the publicist. So all of that comes down to the capital and what you're putting behind your product. Because you can put out a song that's really hot, but if you don't promote it, the mass audience out there wouldn't know about it. So they can't really listen to it because the song is not being promoted. It's not being pushed enough for it to get to the platforms that it need to get on. Just to get songs on radio in America and really push a song to break, you're talking about close to $500,000. So that's on a major level. So it's not something that is just it's easily people can say it, but it's a lot of work behind the scene to get an artist in your face, for that artist to be in your face 24/7. It's a lot of work behind the scene.
So Jodi, you said you must have a lot of money to attract the right management. You need maybe $500,000 to push your song. What specifically do you spend that money on?
That money goes on radio. You got TV. You got being able to hire a publicist that will have you in everybody's face, in every magazine. Every time you turn on that radio, that song is playing 4 or 5 times. You're at the right occasions. You're in the right places. You make sure your online presence is very, very, it's out there that people can recognize.
And so you paid money to the radio station to play your song, or you paid publicists?
You have to have a publicist to be able to represent you. Radio nowadays, if you're not some radio stations, yes, you do have to pay, because let's say you're not in that country, you're not a big name where the radio station is already waiting for something to hear from you. You have to make them want to hear from you. So however you do it, you got to do it for that to happen. One moment.
And so I hear you mention, having a team, publicist, manager, doing work on your behalf. And so I heard a conversation recently with some, I think they're managers or record label owners in Liberia, and some of their criticism of Liberian artists in Liberia was that artists felt like to be an independent artist meant no manager, doing everything on your own. Can you tell us, I guess, how important all those members of your team are and what they bring to the table for you?
Well, being independent, see, artists take independent to be a little different from what, because I grew up in the US and I grew up around a lot of people that are, that are into the music industry. Being an independent artist, meaning you're not signed to a major label. It don't mean that you don't have a manager. Don't mean that you don't have a publicist. But if you're independent and you can have all these things, then the major labels will come after you if you're big. Because of the simple fact that you're independent and you're getting the attraction from everybody, that those same major labels are spending money behind these artists to get that attraction. So now you're taking that spot. So they will come running behind you. I think what that person, maybe what they were saying is most of the artists would say independent, meaning when a time for show, they would be on the phone to negotiate their own show. So the money get in their pocket. They're on the phone doing everything. If you're representing yourself, which all the other artists can do, but if you're doing that at times, you don't have the time to be able to touch on everything that you're supposed to touch on. And you might rob somebody the wrong way who might say, oh, he don't know how to talk to people or this and that, so I can't work with him. That's why you have somebody to do all of that. And you have, you're the only person that can push yourself more than anyone can. But if you have a team that believes in you, they will all want to work just as hard as you work to try to get you there. So having a team, that somebody who's handling, making sure all your, let's say you put out a new song, you got somebody that makes sure that song gets to every DJ, every radio station. Then you got somebody calling the TV station and say, okay, we're sending a brand new video for Jodi, or they're emailing that TV station every time, making sure that there's some type of communication. If you're trying to do all of that, sometimes it's overwhelming. You can't do it by yourself. And so I understand, but also what Liberians got to understand, especially people who want to do music, like Liberian that say, oh, I'm an executive, I want to produce you and this and that. When you're doing music, don't expect the money that you're spending to come tomorrow. And most of them think that. And when they think that, and that first song come out and they ain't get the money that they just spent on the video, then they feel weak to want to go ahead and do it. They're forgetting to know that at times it takes a while for you to really get there.
So Jodi, what is that manager-artist relationship? What does it look like? Who's the boss?
Well, the manager works for you. You're the artist. If the manager is not getting deals out there, if the manager is not managing you correctly, there's no income coming in. If there's no income coming in, how are you going to pay the manager? So some managers play a different role. A manager might sign you and say, I'm going to take care of this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to put money into it. So because I'm putting money into it, this is the percentage I get. And then some managers would be just people who have connection, who are well known, they know how to talk. They're not coming in to spend the money, but they know how to go ahead and talk to investors to come spend the money on you. Something that you couldn't do, that's what that manager is doing. So that's what the manager is there for. But if you have a manager where they don't know how to talk, they can't book you a show. Every time there's a show, that means the people reach out to you, then you tell the manager, oh, somebody just called me, but how about you call the person to book the show? But if that manager don't know how to talk to people, they're not ready doing nothing. If the manager got to make sure you're on the right events, and if you go to a show, making sure that artist is taken care of, portray you in a professional manner where you don't, because it's a lot of things that happen nowadays. And if you're artist, you got to carry yourself a certain way. I understand the internet's made it so easy for us to interact with our favorite artists and make it look like everybody's the same, because everybody can post off on IG and whatnot. But that's why you have a team in place to try to separate you from some of those things.
Because I heard something like, oh, Liberian artists are ungrateful to their managers. So some managers, there was this manager, I forgot the name, say, I'm done with Liberian artists because they are so ungrateful. So Jodi, this boy.
1 second.
Yeah, so there's sometimes, Danielle, there's that battle about like artists and their managers. So.
And so I understand, you know, sometimes the way it's set up is that a manager will get 10% or 20% of, you know, of maybe a show that they booked for an artist, or 10 or 20% of the proceeds from, you know, profit from a song that's sold. But, you know, I guess everybody has to weigh it for themselves, whether that 10, 20% is worth.
If you're a manager, and let's say, and from like, if you're the artist manager, you're paying for the studio time, you're paying for the video, you're paying for clothes, you're paying for this and that, then absolutely, I would say sign a contract with the artist. I say, okay, whatever song, because nowadays you're not really selling music you're not selling CDs like that. You're not selling them on online, because a lot of people only, you know, they're only there to listen and kind of stream the music, but they're not really buying. So there's other ways that you got to make your money if you're investing into the artist. So if I decided to sign you and put all the money up and put everything up, I want a piece of the show that you're doing. I want a piece of, if the song blow up, especially if it's, of course, we got to have a writer, you know, because that's a different contract. We got to be able to have a publishing deal that says I get a certain percent of your public, you know, of your writing, simply because all the money that I'm putting into you, I'm not getting my money on based on you selling the music, but it's rather everything that comes with it. So there is a thing called a 360 deal. That means the label gets almost everything that you do. If your face get on a commercial, they get a piece of it. If you sneeze and it's for sale, they get a piece of it. You do movie, they get a piece of it. That's completely different. Some artists don't want that. They rather be independent, because if you're independent, everything comes to you. You know, and that's a good way to go. But if you don't have the money, how are you going to be independent?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. The song Joanna, that's a big song in America. The company that they mainly do they're independent company, but they push a lot of artists who are already making name, who already have a song that they have a presence out there that people actually like. And if that artist got enough money to be able to push the song, then they're going to jump behind you. So you can get distribution, but you got to have money to push it.
Yeah. Well, and you said something that triggered something I wanted to ask you before. Have you thought about shopping your music to, you know, for movies, whether it's to Nigerian films, Ghanaian films, Ivorian films, just getting your songs on a movie soundtrack?
If that's something that we've tried to do, but once again, you gotta be able to know the right people to plug you in. That's where your public, you know, your publisher, or if you have a songwriting, if you have a songwriting deal, you don't really worry about that part, because they're placing your music. You know, so there's a lot of money into it, because if you get one song in the movie. Let's say, for example, Pretty Woman. You had a song, Pretty Woman, that came out before even I was born. But that movie is still playing. It's on Netflix. It's on Hulu. It's on this and that. You're still getting a publishing check that comes to you every time, depending on whatever the deal was. You know, so there are people like, let's say Neo. If Neo didn't want to sing no more, he don't have to. Right. He didn't even have to be an artist in the first place, because he's written so many big songs that he can just sit at home and the check just comes every month, or however the publishing check is sent out to you. But sometimes, you know, you do the music because you have that's your first passion. You have passion for it. So, you know, getting placement in movies and stuff like that, those are different things that I've looked into, that I'm interested in going into, that I'm talking to people about. So there's a lot of things that I do behind the closed door that I don't, because I'm not one of those people that just come on Facebook and want to talk about everything I'm doing in my life. If it's not about music, I'm pretty much keep to myself.
Well, thank you. And so if you are just joining us here as we near our close, we have Jodi Clarke here with us promoting his recent single, Miracle, featuring Tracy Jones. So before we end this interview, just, tell the audience again what you want us to get when we hear Miracle. What should we leave with when we hear Miracle?
Miracle is an inspirational record. It's a gospel song, inspirational song. Let me go ahead and say it. And it's just one of those songs that no matter what you're going through in your life, just understand that if you whatever you believe in, that because we all believe in. Not everybody believe in the same thing that you believe in, but they all believe that there's hope somewhere. There's something to give them hope, something to give them something to make them to keep striving towards whatever your goal is on this earth before you leave. Miracle is a song that just sets the tone. If you're going through anything, any drama in your life, any obstacles in your life, it's just one of those songs to listen to and just lay back and just have a me time to yourself and say things are going to be okay. And there is one of my Liberian brothers. I don't know him, and I think he's in Liberia. But it's like almost every week, maybe 3, 4, 5 times a week, he comes on Facebook and he's live and he plays just the only song he plays in his car. And somebody will always tag me into it. And then I saw Flomo, the Liberian comedian Flomo was live and he was playing the song and he was all in the neighborhood playing the song, and then radios. And now we got people that work at radio stations that call and say, "Oh, brother, somebody, we didn't even know I would get a song by playing it." So it's a good thing for my people to support, because when your people support other people around, you see that, and then that's how they get on board. So that's a good thing. So I would hope everybody can get the same thing that I got from it when I actually wrote the song. It's a song that gave me peace of mind.
Do you write all your songs, Jodi?
Every single song that you've heard from me, I wrote every one of them. There's one song that I did a co-writing on, and it's the song, or it's in French and English. It's called Fais-moi bisou. The producer that produced the song, he also produces for P Square and a lot of big Nigerian artists, and he and I actually co-wrote that song. But every single song you've heard, I've written every one of them.
Did you also look into writing songs for other people?
That's something that I've been looking into for a few years now. I didn't take it serious at first, but then within the last 2 years or so, I've been more into it, and I've attended a lot of conferences and met a lot of people, and even some of my friends that they and I grew up being young in the music industry. A lot of American guys that I grew up with now, they're more so into the songwriting now. So those are some of the things that we're actually working on. We had some plans to do a lot of things in LA before the whole COVID-19. So hopefully once everything goes away where we can travel freely with no problem at all, then we'll get back on track.
I got a comment here from Tashi George. Management makes the upfront investment just like any other business. It is a risk that we take, especially in the entertainment industry. However, it is imperative for artists to study the art of the music business in 2020. I could get really deep, but loving this conversation.
I mean, he's absolutely right. And as I stated before, management comes in different form. I will give you an example. A few years back, I was more into R&B music than I wasn't doing Afro pop. And the reason I wanted to Afro pop was because of that situation. But when I first got I would say my first management deal, that management came on board and put out almost $40,000 up front for us to produce, for us to record songs, got me a car and make sure that I was good. Now, this is few years back, but when that happened, they also were able to get part of my publishing. Now, some managers don't come up to say, "Oh, I'm going to give you money or this and that." They didn't have to do that, but they did that because they wanted to make sure that we got the right producers. And the reason for the money was to go and get the producers to try to record the songs that were needed for us to go to the label. And some managers will come and say, "Okay, you know what? I'm managing you. I'll be your mouthpiece. I got the connect. Let's go get somebody who can invest the money into you, And then that way we tell the person, well, this is what we're going to pay you. We're going to pay you off of endorsement. We're going to pay you off of products. We're going to pay you off of concerts and tours, videos, those different things. So there's a lot of different things. His comment, I mean, the what you just read, that makes a whole lot of sense. It's definitely a part of the conversation. So there's a lot of ways that artists need to really educate themselves. If you're saying you don't want somebody to manage you and you want to be your own boss, your own manager, because you come on tour, the promoter gave you the $2,000 in your hand, now you want to pay the man that did the talking, then you should be able to go pay for your own video, do everything on yourself, promote yourself. You call the promoters, you do this, do that, and see how everything pans out.
Mm-hmm. And something stuck out with what you said, how now this song Miracle, is being played on radio stations, and you're not even sure how some of those radio stations are getting the song. But just 4 months ago when you were here, we were talking about how, some of the radio stations want to charge you, for your song to be played. And I just want to take this moment to say, like, this is your time, or this is for you. Just 4 months ago, we were talking about, how expensive it would be to have to send every single radio station in Liberia $100 or $200 just to play your song. And here they are now playing your song without you even reaching out to them. So this is a miracle.
Don't. So we had to do some groundwork for them to be able to hear that song. See, here's the thing. Most people, sometimes you can promote music, and there's different ways that you can promote music. One, you can either, if it's let's say it's a club song, you can send it to DJs that plays in the club. Because if those DJs are playing a song in the club every night and the radio is not playing it, people go to clubs, so people hear that song. So now they're going to be calling radio stations to request the song they're hearing in the club. Mm-hmm. Then the radio station is going to play it. And let's say you decide to pay 2 radio stations or 3 radio stations, the top 3 radio stations, to play a song. They start playing it every day. Everybody start talking about that song. The rest of the radio stations are left out because it's a competition. You won. If you're a radio station that needs ratings, I don't know if that's how Liberia works, but most radio stations, there is a thing called ratings. And if you need a ratings and somebody is playing that Jodi Clarke record, or let's say they're playing the CIC song and you don't have that CIC song, you're like behind. Yeah. So you got to try to jump on that song. So what are you going to do? Call CIC and say, man, give me some money. Let me play your music because people playing it like crazy. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to want to play it. So I think that's what's happening. Is it started playing because we did some groundwork. Shout out to Victor Jones. He's been behind the whole thing. But once that groundwork was laid and the song is playing out, and even people in the streets, the audience are liking the song now, some radio stations have no option but to actually play it. It's a beautiful song. Plus, come on. If you work on the radio in Liberia, you play American songs all day. You play Nigerian songs all day. You ain't never met these people. You would never meet them in this lifetime, or you might, I don't know. But you play their music. You don't know them. So why can't you do it for your own Liberian artists and grow the culture, grow your music? Let your music be number one. Everything else follows. Trust me. It'll be a bigger platform.
Right. And that's true. That's true. That's the same thing we go through now in this interview. If you were to play in Liberia, people would love it, right? But they won't until we give them money. So if sometimes I ask them, hey, does BBC give you money to air BBC?
No.
Or does network and all these things? So, but I think as time goes by, our people will catch on to that and see reasons.
And that's what I tell people. I say sometimes, if the product is good, support it, push it further. Miracle, all we did was, I've Trace play my videos. They probably had 3 or maybe 3 videos that were in rotation. But when Miracle came out, all I did was email the song to them, email the video to them. And maybe two weeks later, two weeks later, now I got fans coming in on my fan page saying, oh, I just saw this video play on TV. I just saw that. I haven't spoken to Trace. Nobody called me to ask me for money, but they want the content. It's a good video. It's a good video. The song is good, and they play on Trace gospel. If it gets to the point where it's playing over and over on the gospel, then they play on the regular Trace, the the regular network. It can be the same thing in Liberia. If you go to Ivory Coast, they play Ivorian video 24/7. They might play other people, other places, American artists and Nigerians. This not because the music is a mixture, but it makes sure their contents are played and pushed to their audience. Nigeria does the same thing. You go to Nigeria, that Nigerian music they play 24/7. They push their artists. It can be the same thing for Liberia.
Yeah. Let's look at Miracle again, and as we draw to our closing time, go over the lyrics once more. Some of the main points that you hit in that song, because at the end of the show we're going to play that and let everybody listen. But just talk to me on the lyrics.
So the first verse says, the first verse talks about just being in and out of a relationship, whether that relationship is with your significant other or what is with God, because you can have a relationship with God that was tainted, so you haven't been to church in a very long time. So you see yourself going down a path that you probably wasn't on a few years ago, but you see yourself going down and you drifted so far that it makes things difficult in your life. So you say, you know what, I'm gonna try a different road and see what happens. It's like getting in your car and putting on a GPS and say I'm going to avoid a highway, or I'm going to avoid back streets and make sure I get to where I'm going in a timely manner. So I wrote Miracle with everything that's been going on in my life, just asking for a clear vision to be able to see what I want to do, especially if you've been doing something for a while and you feel like you're not where you want to be. So people might look at you and say, oh, Jodi is a big artist, is this and that. But if you feel within yourself, I'm not on the level that I need to be on, then there's something you need to change, something you need to work on. Or maybe God has a plan that you just not seeing that plan. And so you're still on your own plan. So I'm asking for him to intervene, provide me a miracle of what you want the plans to be, because you gave me the voice. So I'm using it. If you don't want me to use it for this purpose, you want me to use that for that purpose, you be the person. The second verse is from a distance. I see my blessings coming from a distance. So it's just a song of hope that you can hope on, for something good to happen. People get in the street with everything that's going on in America with the riots and Black Lives Matters and everything. People are hoping for a change, from their current situation. They want to make sure that things are different. And I'm definitely there 100%. I have a son, so I want to make sure my son can live without living in fear like we do whenever we get pulled over or whenever something happens. It's kind of the same thing.
Yes, and that's what I need right now, a miracle.
Absolutely. We all need it.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Jodi. Thank you for coming and sharing your music with us. We started the program with the song, with the video, and we will end the program with the song as well. Before we go, I just want to remind our audience that we still have 2 more shows today. At 6 p.m. Eastern, we will have a lawyer on talking about the justice system here in America, especially during these times as the Black Lives Matter movement progresses. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have our debate series with Robert Gargua and George Lobo, and they will be examining the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration and deciding whether certain things were successes or failures for her administration. So please join us again today at 6 p.m. Eastern and 9 p.m. Eastern for those shows. And thank you again, Jodi, for joining us. We appreciate you sharing your time and your music with us.
I definitely appreciate it. He's over there. He's on the other side playing. But I definitely appreciate being on, and thank you guys for having me. And thanks for everyone who's watching and who's going to watch later. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you again for coming. Our viewer, we say thank you so much for your time. Have a good and godly day.
All right. Oh, yeah. It's Jodi. Miracle. this race for too long. Yeah, still no finish line. Too many broken relationships, yeah. It's time I turn to you. Miracle, I need a miracle. I gotta have a miracle. I'm standing in the need of miracle. I need it right now. I was told that you're the fixer of everything. You're the God of possibility. I heard you're an awesome God. You're an awesome God. You're the God of deliverance. You're the God of possibilities. You're the greatest God. You're the God of everything. You're the God of possibilities. Miracle. I gotta have miracle. Yes, I gotta have miracle. Miracle. From a distance, I see everything clearing out. From a distance, I see my blessing coming. From a distance, I know that you'll answer every prayer. From a distance, I know that you're the God of possibility. A miracle right now. I gotta have it. Miracle. I'm in need of it right now. You're an awesome God. I need you near. You're the God of deliverance. You're the God of deliverance. You're the greatest God. I need it right now. You're the God of possibilities. I pray without any seasons. Miracle. I need miracle. It. I gotta have miracle. It. Yeah. Miracle. Gotta have it. God, I need your miracle. I need your miracle. Send it down. Send it down. Send it down. Send it down. I need it. Send it down. I need it. I need your miracle right now. Send it down. I want it. Send it down. I can go without it. Send it down. Every day, every night. Send it down. I get down on my knees and I lift my hands high to you. I need it. I need it. Yeah. I need your miracle. Upon sword clipper.